Hello there, this is Five. We're checking out HyperVelocity. This is a game I actually have tried in the past. It's a very early version last time I played, and I believe the developers actually revamped like all of the controls entirely, so I'm assuming it plays a good bit different. That's just based on what I've seen recently that's been shared by the developer, but I don't know much about what else has been going on in here besides that, but I do have the game page open here. This is currently just a prototype. It has a movement controls tutorial and a couple of sandbox battles. It goes on to list the movement controls. Aiming is left stick or mouse. Forward is W or left trigger. Interesting to use the left. Usually have the right trigger be like on a driving game or something. Like the right trigger would be throttle and the left trigger would be brake. But yeah, in any case, back is S or Y or triangle to invert trigger direction. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so we actually kind of shift between throttling forward and backward, I guess. Thrusters is right stick or A, D, space, and control. That's a lot of buttons being mentioned. I guess they're all different thrusters. Boost is shift or B, circle. Drift is left shoulder button or right mouse. So I'll make better sense of this when I just like get in the game and start pressing all the buttons, I'm sure. It goes on to mention the weapons. There's shoot, there's missiles, right shoulder button, select target. It's on A, switch gun, Q or D-pad left, switch missile. Okay, so it's important to know that we have the D-pad being used. So I'm going to try this out with the Xbox 360 controller to begin with here, but let's go ahead and get rid of the overlay and I'll jump into this. So I've not seen anything past the screen. I guess we're going to go ahead with tutorial. All right. Okay, so it's got voxel tasks. In the top left, it's kind of covering up the text that's disappearing. There's apparently a timer on this text, so I didn't really have a chance to read what that said. That was a bit bothersome. But it says move the mouse to turn and press W to fly forward. So let's mess around here a bit so we can. Oh shoot! I was afraid of this. Okay. I might actually have to try the mouse and keyboard instead, because the same thing happened last time when I tried this game. Is that the developer has the pitch up and down not inverted, and as such, I can't really wrap my head around it because I use inverted pitch on a thumbstick, which is how I assume most people use it, but apparently the developer doesn't. But that definitely needs to be an option to be able to do that because it's just unplayable if you're somebody who uses inverted pitch on the thumbstick there. Alright, interesting. I'm moving forward. I only pressed the right stick. I thought it would just kind of shift me around in place, but apparently it starts me moving forward. Oh yeah. Alright, left trigger is the throttle, which is kind of weird, but alright, I'm gonna grab the mouse and keyboard here. Let's just disconnect the controller. Alright. Here we go. Alright, mouse and keyboard. Looks like we can mouse look about as fast as we want, and then the plane just kind of catches up with us. So I'm gonna have to go back and check what all the buttons were again here. So I think I got it switched around. So like W is going backwards and S is going forwards. I don't remember which button was that. I'm gonna check the game page here. I'm not sure if the game itself is gonna tell me. So I was mostly paying attention to the gamepad controls here, but it's easier to learn gamepad controls by like just pressing the different buttons and stuff than it is to learn keyboard and mouse controls because there's many different keys on the keyboard. Oh no. All right, so I think what happened here is I had inverted the thrust direction using the gamepad, but apparently that function is meant only for the gamepad. And so I need to like plug the gamepad back in to do that, because it doesn't look like there's a keyboard bind for that particular function. So even though I'm using the keyboard now, it's still inverted. Let's go ahead and... Alright, I think... Yeah, looks like I fixed it there. Alright, let's unplug this again. Hopefully I won't need that. Alright. So we got left and right. So yeah, apparently if you try to just kind of move left and right in place, it kind of pushes you forward a lot, like you accelerate. It's kind of weird. Not really what I expect anyways. You can kind of hold S and then go left and right, and maybe still looks like I'm moving forward. Yeah, that doesn't seem to help much. So for whatever reason, this accelerates you. That's a little strange. I don't know what the other buttons are, but I guess I'm gonna see if maybe the tutorial is gonna tell me something, but so far this is intuitive enough. I mean, you move the mouse around, you can hold S to move forward, and then A and D, I mean, it's sort of like, you know, what you would do for like a shooter or whatever, where you can kind of move left and right. You can kind of sidestep, and there's stuff appearing in the top left is a little distracting. I guess it's just debug stuff or whatever. Alright, we're getting some speed. So I think it's auto-rolling to try to set the horizon. Alright, the thrusters can do more than just stabilization. They can also be used to hover up, down, backwards, and sideways, I think is it. Using thrusters while flying forwards allows you to evade projectiles and widen or narrow your turning circles. Unfortunately, okay, that's going by way too fast to be useful. Not to mention just, you know, even if that text wasn't so fast, you really want to make this stuff like let you do a button input to progress the text when you're done reading it, so that you can actually be sure that the player has the ability to read what it said. So yeah, that wasn't particularly helpful. What else was I going to say? Oh, right, so it seems to be... With certain maneuvers, you kind of... you can see the horizon is not level, but then it kind of just auto-levels out as soon as you stop moving the mouse. Which is interesting. I guess that's just something to get used to. It can be a little disorienting because it's sort of like it's moving without your input, and it affects your... Whoa. Wait, what? I just stopped. Oh, I'm fully stopped. Oh, maybe if you pitch up, the gravity slows you to a stop. But if I'm going forward, I just kind of keep my momentum, I guess. That's interesting. And you accelerate if you pitch down. Okay. So it's not like you stall out or anything, you just kind of hover in the air after you stopped, but... it's interesting, like, whatever technology this is, it's capable of hovering in place just fine, but it's still, like, if you pitch down, it still falls, and it's kind of counterintuitive. I don't know. In any case, yeah, I'm not sure about the auto roll thing, but it does make sense that like at some point you probably want the horizon to be leveled out again. So I guess instead of adding an additional input like a button you'd slap to make that happen, you could do it this way. You could also, I mean, some players might like the ability to roll manually, to control their roll with some kind of button. I don't know if you want to use Q and E or something, or maybe like hold a button and then you could move the mouse or something. I don't know, but I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it. Looks like shift is this. If I feel like I got to this. I like the waypoint. Last thing for today is using your afterburners and some space magic, blah blah blah. Start drifting near the end of each turn to face the entrance of the next one, and fire your afterburners when you're in position. Alright, this time even the text in the middle disappeared before I could read that. Like I was still reading the stuff in the top left, and the text in the middle was already gone. So that's kind of silly. Alright, so I'm guessing the right mouse button is the drift. Yeah, so it seems like what's happening here is we're getting sort of a lack of friction. And we hold that down so that presumably you can kind of pre-turn, and then when you let go of it, then you kind of your traction, let's call it, kind of grabs, and then you move in that direction. It's a pretty straightforward way of drifting. It says something about using the... Oh, it's hard to see where the edges of this tunnel thing are. Okay. It says something about using the afterburners with the thing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Alright, between having to like pick up and move the mouse, and then like auto rolling while I'm like picking up the mouse and stuff, it gets pretty disorienting. I'm not sure what not Todd was saying in the corner there. Also got a little lost, like where am I going? Now you're ready to be the first in store when Skyrim Mythic something something. I was gonna say Mythic Dragonlord Edition is released. Okay. So yeah, once we start doing these like really tight turns, it's like I have to keep picking up the mouse to move it. If I have to turn hard, which is partially a mouse sensitivity thing and just partially the nature of using mouse controls for this kind of maneuvering, unfortunately, which is one upside to using a gamepad, is that you never have to pick up the mouse. You can just continuously turn, which is nice for a flying game like this. So yeah, it seems like it doesn't like punish you or anything for like hitting the walls of this tunnel thing, but I don't feel like I did a very good job of this. Is this something? I guess this is where it wanted me to use the drifting. Maybe that was partially why I had a little bit of trouble with the turns here. It's a bit hard though. Maybe if I could, maybe I'd want a little bit more mouse sensitivity. I could try cranking up the DPI on my mouse here with the buttons. This feels a little more... I mean, for a shooter, I wouldn't use this sensitivity, but with this game, I need to be able to do some maneuvers here. It's a little hard if you don't like if I can't turn hard enough without like in one motion without having to pick up the mouse, then I can't really do the turn. AD to fly sideways, S to reverse, space control to fly up. Alright, space control, that's good to know. So I kind of wish that text actually showed up properly before. It's a little bit, I mean, it's not very powerful up and down thrust. Neither is the left and the right here. I guess you're mostly intended to use your proper maneuvering like this to go where you want to go. So I don't. This isn't the drifty one. That was this one. So I think we still turn while we're doing this, so it's not like zero friction. It's just low friction. So you can't do this too far ahead of time is kind of what that translates to, because I'm not particularly good at this. Oh, the second time I thought it was gonna work out a little better than it actually did here. Oh, okay, so what I'm noticing is that so the way that this works is that you can move the mouse as fast as you want, but you have to wait for the ship to maneuver to catch up to the direction that you're facing it. So if you're trying to do a drift, it can be a little bit awkward. It sort of almost feels like it works against you. I mean, maybe that's not the right way to put it, but I try and do a drift. It actually looks like the ship actually is even slower to orient itself properly. So if I want to do a drift, I like as I'm approaching the turn, I want to hit the drift button, then rotate into the direction that I want to exit the drift, and then I let off the button. The problem is that the ship takes a while to actually turn into the position to let off the drift and then actually go in that position. So if you don't wait for it to turn all the way, it doesn't actually go in that direction. It kind of goes off to the side more, and then you don't really get the benefit of the drift. So the fact that it works that way is kind of necessary with the mouse controls, clearly. But what confuses me a bit is the choice to actually make the ship orient itself slower while you're drifting. Now it seems to be moving a little faster. Is it because of my speed or something? Is it speed or is it the fact that I'm boosting? I think it's the fact that I'm boosting. I think the boost makes it so you maneuver, or your ship maneuvers slower for whatever reason. Not really sure what the idea is there. I guess it's just in general it's meant to be less maneuverable while you're boosting, which makes sense in most contexts. But yeah, that's something to consider. I mean, as far as the drifting thing goes, if this was just a flying game that didn't have drifting, I think it makes a lot of sense to have less maneuverability while you're using the afterburners. But given that we do have drifting, I think it's sort of a little unfortunate that it just kind of doesn't work very good while you're using afterburners. Like maybe that's just what the developer wanted. Like maybe it just wanted to nerf the afterburners a bit or something. Even in the drifting, I mean you can take that into consideration while you're playing, of course, but I think it'd just be more fun if you could kind of do this at full speed without getting like kind of lousy drift. I don't know, it's like you need a lot of space to pull it off. Oh gosh, I think I might have reset the DPI. Sometimes I just habitually hit the button to reset the DPI on my mouse because in the past I would occasionally hit one of the buttons like while I was playing a game and it would just like mess me up all of a sudden, so I just like learned to hit the reset button frequently to make sure that it's always on the right DPI setting. So yeah, maybe like you know, just letting off the throttle or the afterburner at strategic times is maybe the way to play it better. Yeah, I don't like the auto roll. I don't think the auto level, I should call it, because yeah, I do think it messes you up. Like when you try to navigate these tunnel things and you're like in the middle of like trying to line up a turn, and then all of a sudden the like everything is rolling around like that. That significantly affects your controls here, because suddenly the orientation of the turn you're trying to take is like changing. So yeah, I think I would prefer to either have just like a button to reset your roll, or have inputs to control the roll directly, or both would probably be good. But yeah, I think I'd like to try this on the gamepad. It's just kind of unfortunate that there's as far as I know, there's no options in the game, and as such I can't actually invert the pitch up and down on the stick to like be able to do it properly. But yeah, as far as this, oh gosh, did I reset the DPI again? I don't even know what my DPI is set to at any point in time, because I don't use these buttons except when I'm playing demos, because people don't have options for sensitivity implemented yet. Yeah, it's interesting. I like some of what's going on here. The controls are very intuitive. Like, I don't have any problem with like, you know, airplane controls, which are, you know, where you have to roll before you can pitch and turn and stuff. But this is cool because it sort of mimics the FPS controls to a degree, and it feels pretty intuitive, and it seems like you can do a lot of quick maneuvers without that much effort. I don't feel like I'm very accurate with the mouse. I feel like I'm limited by the sensitivity to a degree. Like I keep kind of running into the edges of my movable area. If I had like a giant mouse pad, I'd be a little bit better off. But I actually have like a pretty dinky area moving the mouse here, so I usually play at relatively high DPI, but yeah, that's a limitation to this, so that, again, like I said before, I'd like to try the gamepad for that. And what the heck is that? That does not sound normal to me. But I don't think there's any more tutorial here. So I haven't been taught anything about, like, weapons. Let's go ahead and... I don't know how to... Can I actually get out of this, or do I just have to close the game? That does not sound normal. That can't be normal. What other buttons? I'm gonna go ahead and... I'm gonna Alt F4 this, and let's take another peek at the game page here. It says shoot is... Oh my gosh, I have to reset the DPI. Shoot is left click. Missiles are mouse 4. You can't you can't use mouse 4. Not everyone has a mouse 4. I'm sorry. Select target is middle mouse. Switch gun is Q. It's late, I'm sorry. Switch missiles is E. So we have switch gun is Q and then switch missiles is E. Missiles is mouse 4. And then left click shoot and then middle mouse or select target. Alright, so Q and E are switch gun and switch missiles. That's straightforward enough. Let's go ahead and launch the game again. We'll try the other modes that are in here. Been getting this pop-up error when running the Unreal Engine games recently, but they still seem to run fine. So, all right, we got a sandbox. Let's click on sandbox real quick. Are you gonna work for me? Let's see what this is all about. So it's not doing anything yet. I don't know if it's loading. There it is. All right. Looks like I have to click to get the game to register my mouse here. Wow, those are really fast moving bullets. It's like a laser. That's pretty cool. Sounds cool. A little kind of scratchy on the audio, but I like the sound of like the... Sounds like barrels rotating. Alright, leave me alone. I'm learning. Not much for HUD. Is it the Q key, I think? That's where we get this BRAP gun. I guess we can shoot whatever that is. Just shoot anything we want. I just ran into that. Okay. I don't know if... I think I killed the purple thing before. Can I kill the green things? It's a little hard to judge the distance here. So I don't know. I don't know if holding this down actually does something, or if it's just when the little spray effect goes out. I don't know. Let's try this thing. Does it always go towards the reticle, or does it have... Oh, I think it's, Yeah, when you're maneuvering, the ship kind of oversteers a little bit and then sort of has almost like a fishtail effect, where it doesn't just immediately lock into the directly forward orientation, so that where you're shooting can kind of waver a little bit there for a moment. Alright, so this is kind of cool. I don't know if this is intended, but it looks like you can use the drift to kind of prevent the ship from rolling. Oh, what's going on? Am I like at the edge of the world or something? It's like I'm holding the right mouse button and it's not really working. Because I was stopped? I guess it's something, it's dependent on your velocity if this kind of spiky, sparky effect is going on. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But yeah, so if you hold this, it kind of prevents your ship from rolling, which sort of feels like it could almost be useful for aiming with the shot here. It certainly, it seems to roll a bit, or rotate a bit faster, so it's still kind of springy in that it doesn't, yeah, it sort of has its fishtail, but it does seem to rotate more quickly. So yeah, you get this sort of effect where it's almost like I don't know, more like aiming with a helicopter or something, if you just hold the right mouse button. I think that's cool. Again, I don't know if that's intentional, but I think something like that, if you kind of like lean into that more, I think that would be cool to make that more of like an intentional thing, and maybe just make it work a little better like that. Maybe you can work out some of the springiness and yeah, just kind of make that into like a feature. I think that'd be pretty sick. It would just help with aiming, like if you want to like slow down and just kind of like aim more accurately and do that kind of thing, and then you can hit the afterburner and zoom off somewhere else. Little bit of frame dropping here. Alright, the middle click was supposed to be locking on to enemies. I think that's for the missiles, right? So I guess the green guys are the enemies. I don't seem to have been able to hit. Oh, I think I killed that guy. So this thing seems hard to hit with, even though it's like a big spray. I'm also dropping a lot of frames here, so that's not very helpful. Oh, is this like an airstrip? There's little tanks down here, I think. Oh no, I don't think they're meant to be there. It looks like they're stuck. Wonder, can I help them? Can I help you be free? Uh-oh, whoa, oh no, the frame rate. Oh, why are they up in the air? Oh, I don't know what's going on. What is this thing? Oh, this thing's just pooping out tanks. Or are they just bouncing because he's like running over them? Well, this thing looks cool, whatever it is. Sounds are a bit annoying, like in the left channel here. So I think it's pretty hard to aim at stuff manually, even with a mouse. I mean, it doesn't help that I'm dropping so many frames, but oh gosh, it's so chugging. Let's try the old missiles here. I think it was mouse 4. Which one is that? This one? There we go. Little missiles popping out there. Alright, got like a double missile and they just kind of spaz around to make them look cool. Oh, looks like we can lock onto more than one enemy at a time. Oh my gosh, the the frame rate. So do I have to click on... Gosh, I don't like it the way that the frame rate is chugging here. Do I have to click on each thing individually to get the lock on? Sometimes it locks on more than one, but I can't seem to like... I can't seem to do that intentionally. I've tried like clicking and holding, tried clicking on one and then clicking on another. I guess just rotating around sometimes changes targets, but they really just go all over the place. It's a little silly. They look like very inefficient missiles. So I guess, what the heck, I'm getting hit by missiles. Oh, it's chugging. I think the longer that this runs, the worse that the performance is getting. I'm gonna try pressing the E button, see if I get a different missile here. Oh gosh, that missile. That missile seems to have problems. I don't know if these guys are like... I don't know if they're frame rate dependent or something. Is that causing some goofiness here? I think I must have switched to like... I guess we're switching between like a single missile and a double missile or something. I don't know. Wait, that shot like a whole lot of them. And that, I think, only shot one? I don't really know what's going on, to be honest. So other things are shooting missiles, so that's probably throwing me off here. You might want to like visually differentiate what the things that you shoot and the things that enemies shoot, maybe. That might help a little. In any case, yeah, so this is neat. There's just a bunch of things just kind of rolling across the ground, and I assume if I go over here, then these are like that. The enemies are the other ones. I don't really visually see much of a difference between the ground troops here. I guess these are different sides, but they kind of like look the same. I don't know. But I'm gonna, I guess I have to Alt F4 in order to switch the modes here, but I'm gonna try the last mode thing. It was just called flat, I believe. Holy moly, is this still recording? Alright, not sure what happened there, but OBS was like not responding for a bit while I was trying to relaunch this, and I don't know if it was recording the whole time there, but it looks like it's still recording now, so let's go ahead and click on flat. Hopefully it's doing something currently. Okay, I clicked on it again. I'm not sure if the second time I clicked on it, if that triggered it to load or if it was loading the whole time there. Not sure what happened there, but looks like we've got some kind of an airstrip thing. We got more ground units, I assume. Looks like we've got again, things from two different factions or whatnot. I guess the purple is maybe my own faction. So I'm kind of hovering across. I like that you can kind of run into the ground without blowing up. Although it makes you slow down, I guess, predictably. I tried shooting a missile from down here, and I guess I think it's actually spawning like under the ground plane. It looks like it's hitting the ground plane and then exploding. That's a little silly, but oh my gosh, turn. Yo, the camera. I'm like upside down. Right, is there some auto aim in here? I think this... It's just not turning because I'm... Alright, I'm holding control. I kind of expect that this would help me to... Because I'm upside down right now. Kind of expect that that would help me to get off the ground here. Alright, up, up, control. Oh. Oh, I should have been pressing space. I guess the game doesn't care if I'm upside down. It still makes spacebar move me in the up direction, which is interesting to know. Oh, I'm on the ground again. I keep wondering if it's like trying to snap to enemies, but it's like I'm I'm just sitting on the ground and that's why it's not rotating. Maybe it is snapping to enemies though. Alright, it does actually look like it is doing a little bit of auto aim there, so that's cool. I don't know how... I don't know how effective that is against faster enemies. Looks like it works, I guess. Alright, what else do we do? I don't think there's much else for us to explore here. We've got just random missiles. I think the bottom left number is actually our velocity. Bottom right we have 4 out of 4. I don't know what that is. I think maybe... Looks like we can spam missiles until that number goes down, so that must be the amount of missiles we have currently, and then it kind of recharges. I think if I press E... Oh, it says 12. Oh, I can just hold the button down. Okay. Interesting. So that's... I'm sorry, that's really loud. Probably doesn't sound good in the recording. I apologize for that, but yeah, that's interesting. Alright, that feels cool, so like if I want to like overshoot something and then shoot it in the back, that kind of thing, that's what... That feels cool with the drifting. Gosh, that's really loud. I would would turn some of these sounds down a bit. But yeah, the drifting is cool. I was thinking like when it's just like a big open area where you're just flying in the open air like this, it sort of like begs the question like why do you even have to drift? It makes more sense if you have obstacles and stuff that you're flying around, but even just being able to like to do this kind of thing where you just kind of go fast and then you kind of spin around and keep your momentum in that direction while you're aiming in another, that kind of thing, that feels cool. So I definitely like the idea, and you know, in a more fleshed out game where you might have more, hopefully more obstacles to maneuver around and stuff, that could feel really fun. Performance again is pretty crappy for me on this. For what it's worth, I'm running a 970 on my GPU, and my CPU is actually at 2600K. But yeah, like I don't think there's much else for me to actually do, but I'm really interested. I'm hoping that you can manage to squeeze some more performance out of this, because there are a lot of enemies on the screen, but not much of anything else, so you don't really expect you know, to be losing too many frames, I think, with what's here currently. So I'm hoping you can squeeze more performance out of it. And yeah, I'm really interested. I really like the idea of the drifting a lot with this kind of gameplay, so I'm curious to see where else you go with it and what the game looks like in the future. So please keep it up. Hopefully this video is useful for you. I'm a little concerned that there might be some kind of memory leak or something. I think the performance just like reduces over time, probably. But yeah, hopefully this was useful for you. Using my own dudes. This gun is a little weird to use, but yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up the video. Hopefully it was useful for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.